Hello everyone and welcome to episode 20 of the WCW 2000 save here on TEW9. We're getting right into Nitro, then right into Thunder. There's no time to waste. And to be blunt, nothing has happened in the meantime. I just had a thought, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned beforehand that Christian turned us down and stayed with WWF. If I didn't mention it, that happened a while ago. I also apologise if there's any background noise. I have to have the fan on because it's boiling in this house today. So again, apologies if you're hearing a bit of background noise. Hopefully it's not too bad. But we opened the show straight away with the NWO. Kevin Nash comes out with the NWO and says, what should have been a great night was merely a good night last night at Spring Stampede. Steiner won the US title, the Outsiders won the tag titles, and Jeff Jarrett got rid of DDP. However, it seems Eric Bischoff decided to return with a bunch of cronies and a target to the NWO. Nash says they aren't one to shy away from a fight, so calls them on down. Eric Bischoff with Law and Order, which is Brian Adams, Brian Clark of Chronic, and Mike Awesome, appear on stage and say now is not the time for that. There's plenty of time, however, because he wants all four men in the NWO to know that tonight all four of them are in action, including both of those newly won tag titles, and he thinks the US title match should start right about now. And I've 2 seconds, I've made a bit of a mistake here. Let me just pop out of this angle and back into the booking screen. But 49 overall, it's not great, but I mean, nothing is at this point. Okay, we're back. And yep, so Scott Steiner defeats Mike Awesome by disqualification to make defense number 1 of the United States title. Mike Awesome just gets himself intentionally disqualified. It has to be said as well, a 61 rating when they don't click his opponents is really good, and they both got a 56, so Mike Awesome hopefully be a bit of an inspired signing. But this is more about Law and Order laying a beat down than winning any titles, but Steiner does retain on the technicality of the DQ. Up next, DDP's with Mean Gene, and DDP's clearly down. He says he feel like he failed last night, and he says sorry to everyone. Maybe he's not the guy anymore, maybe he doesn't have what it takes anymore. And Mean Gene assures him he does, and DDP says, yeah, we'll see, and walks away. So DDP can't really believe that he lost to Jarrett in the cage. So DDP on a bit of an existential crisis, potentially. We shall see. Up next, Mean Gene is still backstage, and he's with Kanyon. And of course the Harris brothers are also there, and Kanyon says last night went exactly as planned, but before he can get any further on, they're interrupted by Dustin Rhodes and Chris Benoit. Kanyon calls them both losers, since they both lost at the pay-per-view. Benoit lost the US title, and Dustin once again failed to win a title here. So why are they even here? And Benoit says, how about tonight? They need a bit of a fight, they want to beat someone up. They kick their teeth down their throat, as Kanyon sort of agrees, but he stands behind the Harris. He's gone, oh, with like, you know, the like jazz scary hand thing. Yeah, builds up a little match for next, and there we go. And we've got some injury news to deal with now. But Benoit, Dustin Rhodes, and Kurt Hennig, because he needed an extra man, defeat Kanyon and the Harris brothers when Chris Benoit pins Don Harris with the diving headbutt. Benoit the best guy in the match by a bit of a distance. It's a good match though, 56 overall. We need to see what Kurt Hennig's bruised pectoral muscle looks like and how long he may be out for. Up next, we've got everyone's favourite, the Cat Associates, who almost killed the crowd, but not quite. And the Cat says last week was just a blip. Jindrak has been hurt, so that, plus the Filthy Animals cheating, was the reason why they lost. Thunder will be different. They want another challenge and ask any tag team to step up. So Cat, you know, not letting it affect him too much. He's got his boys. His boys are going to be back on winning tracks once Thunder happens and when Mark Jindrak is fully healed. We then have a promo with the Champ. Sting comes out, he talks about what happened last night and says he's no idea why the ref threw the match out, but at the end of the day, the big gold belt is still over Sting's shoulder right now, and nobody can take that away from him. He now needs a challenger for Slamboree, so he hopes someone comes forward and stakes a claim. This is done because I actually don't have a plan currently for Sting. because with the main event ending, I think the logical route is to go Hogan-Sid, which leaves Sting in a bit of a predicament with what to do. But we'll think of something. I've got an idea for this week, at least. But it's a good promo. We then have the Outsiders, who defeat Chronic when Brian Adams intentionally got disqualified while fighting Scott Hall. So the Outsiders do defend the tag titles, but only via disqualification, because again, the Law and Order just beating the piss out of the NWO, essentially, like weapons and all that stuff. A 59 is a really good match. We are probably running this back at Slamboree, because I think that makes sense to do. And hopefully in the time up towards then, we can get Clark and Adams' performances up towards the 50s. That would be good if we could do that. But 59 is great. A 39 is not great. And again, I keep forgetting to book the heel turn for midnight. The Revolution are sitting backstage, and Booker explains that last night wasn't a good night for them. They need to rebound should be, and figure a 6-man tag on Thursday will be a good way to get them back into winning ways. So we're just setting up a little match for the Revolution on Thursday. And then we're continuing to kill the crowd, as Tori is with Mean Gene and says she always knew that her man would do it, and is so proud of him for his big title win last night. Mean Gene questions the methods to getting that win, as Ray chimes in that he agrees, but Tori brushes it off and says it was just to create an even playing field. The Wall was cheating for Berlin, so I, bent the rules a little bit. Ray then says he has to get ready for his match with Berlin, which is up next, to keep Berlin away from Kidman's title. And Ray beats Berlin, quite simply. 57 rated match, really good match actually. And with that, essentially sets it up so that I'm thinking about doing Ray Kidman at the pay-per-view. Face versus face, for the time being at least, but I think that's the way we're going to go. Berlin, I'll think of something for you, mate. I'll think of something. Mean Gene is then with Vampiro, who says he heard what Sting had to say earlier, and he knows he doesn't have the best win-loss record in WCW recently, but he knows Sting is an honourable fighting champion, so how about it? Now, he's got a match to go and win to prove that. It's a 44 rated segment. Before we just quickly, the feed just cuts a little bit, and an ominous video message appears on the screen showing a familiar logo. That's all we're gonna say. I mean, it says who it is, but we're just getting some cheap ratings here. And then in the 59 rated match, which is decent as well actually, Vampiro defeats Roddy Piper in just over 5 minutes with the nail in the coffin. So Vampiro setting himself up good for a match with Sting potentially at the pay-per-view, on Nitro, on Thunder. You'll find out. It's on Thunder. It's on Thunder. Just to let you know, I need a new main event for Thunder that might be good. So, but Vampiro gets the win, and then in our main event, well, this show was going really well, and I was optimistic that we could get a decent rating for this Nitro, but now this is my fault, okay? I booked Sid versus Jarrett. This is like the final match for the NWO guys. Sid's unhappy, Jarrett's unhappy. They've both phoned in their performance. We get a 58 overall, which means the show rating is probably going to be about a 58. This is going to be a terrible Nitro. And then afterwards a 59, which, whatever. Sid gets the win, but it's short-lived as Hogan, Piper, Flair and Package run down and wipe out Sid. They do let Jarrett escape unscathed, as the focus is solely on eliminating Sid, and we get a 61. Annoying, because this is a better than a 61 show. The main event stunk. The main event was one of the worst matches on the show. Hennig's only out for 2 weeks, so that's fine. I don't even know what to do anymore at this point. The logical thing is we just let Sid leave. And I'm starting to lean towards this. Okay? I am starting to lean towards, do we just let Sid quit the company? He can eat his contract, so we don't have to worry about paying off. And do we just do that? I'm starting to really lean towards it because that's annoying. It's like he picks and chooses his match to not perform in. So, like Sid, you've got momentum. What are you so annoyed about? Like, I know the backstage atmosphere is terrible, Sid, but like, come on. Tell me you, Jarrett, what are you cringing about? You just won a match at the pay-per-view. I don't know. I don't know anymore what to do. We've got Thunder tonight. I mean, Thunder has been almost historically bad recently, so fingers crossed what I book isn't a complete shit show. I think we've got a good main event, so hopefully that'll help. If this is a bad show, I think we might need to look at the product again and changing the main event spotlight to either regular or back to free ring circus again, because we've still got 104 days until our product change, so we've still got a few months to go on that one. But I'm going to go book Thunder, and we'll see what state this comes out as. And it's time for Thunder. Let's just hope for the best. The main event, I hope, is going to be good. The rest of the matches on this show might be terrible. So, just warning you now. Sting opens the show, and he heard what Vampiro had to say on Monday, and he was also impressed with his win over Roddy Piper. So he asks the fans if they want to see it. The fans cheer. Vampiro comes down and says, look, it's going to be an honour tonight to take you on. They look forward to it, they shake hands, and Vampiro, just give him that look of like, I'm coming for you though, so, just so you know. Good opening segment, and it's followed by another one. An interview taped after Nitro is shown as the NWO are tending to their wounds backstage. Nash says that this is only the beginning. If Bischoff wants to get rid of the NWO so bad, they're going to have to fight for it, and tells Bischoff to watch his back on Monday. Simple, gets these guys on TV, keeps their momentum going. We then get a decent segment, a 52. Sid is interviewed by Mean Gene, who asks him how he feels about what happened on Nitro. Sid says he challenges Hogan to a match, and if he has to go for every one of his pals, he will. Hogan then actually makes an appearance on Thunder for once, and accepts if Sid can get past Piper, Flair, and Package, then he can get Hogan at Slamboree. So that'll kill some weeks of TV. Sid will take on the individual members of this group, and if he wins all the matches, he gets to face Hogan at Slamboree. This is a good angles to start the show. That's all I'm going to say. Flair, Piper, and Package are backstage after Hogan's announcement and say that on Nitro, it'll be the first challenge for Sid as he goes one-on-one with the Hot Rod. Piper says that Sid will never even get a chance to face Package or Flair, never mind Hogan. So we're just getting a little bit of stuff on the go there. Another 61, and it comes crashing back down to earth with a 31, because now the matches are happening. The Cat Associates defeat Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Norman Smiley in 5 minutes, and apologies for that noise, when Mark Jindrak pins Hacksaw following interference from the Cat. Like, I know I could book quote unquote better matches, but I want to tell stories and I want to push people, so we're just going to have to accept these awful ratings for the time being. This is also awful. I noticed this on Spike Pile Wrestling's WCW save that Eric Bischoff really struggles to pull in ratings on this. But anyway, Law and Order hit the ring, and Eric Bischoff says Monday night was just a taste of what this group is going to do to control WCW. The NWO is a mere starting block for them, and Slamboree Chronic will take the tag titles. Mike Awesome will take the US title, and they've got a solution for JEFF, but they'll keep him in suspense for the time being. Tonight we'll get to see exactly what Chronic will do to the Outsiders, so he tells the jobbers to get on out here. And this match is dreadful as well. 31. Chronic defeat the Varsity Club in 3 minutes. Yep. I I wish you could just book angles and not have any matches on this wrestling show, because this is another bad one. An extremely short match. The Revolution defeat Lash LaRue, Crowbar, and David Flair when Booker pins David Flair. That's just supposed to get the Revolution a bit of win, bit of momentum. Yep, 39. We're doing a lot of heavy lifting on the main event here. Oh dear. Oh dear. It gets a 56. Sting beats Vampiro to retain the title. They don't click. Awkward bout. A 50. I don't even want to know what this rating's going to be. I don't even want to click to finish show. 57. I thought it was going to be worse, I'm not going to lie. Let's just move on swiftly. Let's just keep clicking the buttons. Let's not slow down. Let's not look at that any more than we have to. Thunder is becoming a problem. It has to be said. I don't know if I just need to make Thunder a B show. That might be the way to go. Because also Randy Savage is beefing with Grandmaster Sexy, so there's that. Look at what SmackDown's getting, man. 81. And we are sitting over here with a 57 because of a bad main event. What do we do about Thunder? We could just make it a B show. Would they let me make it a B show? No. Okay, so we're not making Thunder a B show. I think I need to change the focus of the matches again. So if I have a look at this, okay, so final rating, match focus. So 70% from the main event, 20 of the best matches on the show, 10 from the rest. Main event 90%, 10, and we need to get rid of the main event spotlight. The question is, do we go regular, 3-ring, or ensemble? I wonder if we try ensemble. To be honest. Because 3-ring, average of the main event plus 2 highest rated other matches. Ensembles, 40% of the main event, 40 of the best match, other than the main event. So that's 80% of that, and 20%. I think we go back to 3-ring circus. I'm going to do it. Let me know if you think this is the wrong call. I think it's the right call. I think we went to main event focus because the shows were starting to struggle. However, I think we're in a real problem at the moment where our shows are just not doing the business because the main event scene is so weak. But we are having good matches on the undercard. And I think we need to focus on that going forward. But let me know what you guys think. I might be wrong here. This could be a complete disaster. But let me know. Mark Jindrak's back in a day, so that's good, I suppose. Finances are just... Let's just not look at that screen. And yeah. I have an idea for Slamboree. And I'm tempted to maybe do it, but I don't know yet. I might be a bad person with some people on our roster soon to try and fix this because this is bad. There's a few names that appear constantly. Brett's the big one. I love Brett. I wish I could just get rid of Brett, but like it's going to cost. I mean, look, 3 people are happy if we get rid of Brett, but it's going to cost over $1 million to do so. But it's getting to the point where, do I just fire Brett? Piper will be annoyed, but Piper's leaving in July, and we're not going to renew Roddy Piper. So I wonder if we maybe look to fire Bret Hart. And then, so that takes care of that headache. The other headache is Ric Flair. Now, Ric Flair's here for the whole time. But like, if we went to fire Ric Flair, we'd upset Sting and also Jimmy Yang, apparently, for some reason, and Mark Madden. But like, we're not firing Flair, obviously. Not yet, anyway. Maybe one day. But I kind of want Sid to hand his notice in after Slamboree. And I wonder if we make him do the job to Hogan, that gets rid of him. And then we've just got the Hogan headache. And if you look, it would be 1.8 million to fire Hogan. But should Hogan want to quit, that would save us some money. I don't know. I am going to play ahead. We're going to get through Slamboree. We're not going to make any rash decisions before Slamboree, which is going to be a few episodes away. But I think we need to start thinking about making some tough decisions for the sake of the finances, for the sake of the atmosphere backstage, and for the sake of the show ratings. I think we need to start thinking about that. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Let me know what you guys think. What would you do in my shoes? Would you just eat the losses for a while? Because we're not going to be making any money anytime soon. We're losing way too much money per month. And obviously a big reason of that is because the pay-per-view revenue is so bad. But we can't do anything about the pay-per-view revenue. Ticket sales, I mean, we could make the tickets more expensive for pay-per-views. Production, like, we've already whittled down a lot of costs. So it's one of those, I don't know what we want to do going forward. But let me know your thoughts. I will definitely take some feedback on board. Again, I may have a few episodes ahead, but I will probably only get to Slamboree in this window of time that I'm fast recording episodes. But let me know. Thanks for watching. This has been a terrible episode of wrestling. We are exhibiting the spirit of WCW in 2000, if nothing else. And I am, despite sounding a bit downbeat and a bit despondent about this, I am actively enjoying trying to fix it and trying my best to push new talent. Because if we have a look, how are these guys getting on? Palumbo, look, we've gained 15 points for Chuck Palumbo. And Mark Jindrak has gained about 25 points nearly. These guys are getting more over because of their winning matches and being with the cat. We just need to be more consistent about this across the board. But anyway, I've waffled on enough. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe, hit comments, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys in a few days for another train wreck of an episode, no doubt. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.